All right, so we're diving deep today into something pretty fascinating, honestly, and a little unexpected.
Definitely.
It's all about a pretty surprising surge of interest in Nigeria's oil and gas sector,
Yeah.
but not from who you might think.
Right.
We're talking about companies from China who seem to be, well, let's just say they're making some big moves.
Yeah, they are, and the scale of it is really what's caught our attention.
Absolutely. And we want to kind of unpack this a bit. To
Yeah.
figure out what it means,
Yeah.
what does it mean for Nigeria? What does it mean potentially for the world?
Yeah.
And what are the kind of, global implications of this?
And maybe what it means for our gas prices down the line, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Could this affect us at the pump?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to kick things off, I mean, the numbers themselves are kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, a handful of companies dipping their toes in the water here.
Yeah.
It's way more than that.
It's a full-on wave. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking 74 Chinese companies specifically focused on oil and gas in Nigeria.
74. Wow.
And that's out of 216 Chinese companies that are looking at different sectors of Nigeria's economy.
Okay, so that's a significant chunk.
Yeah.
That are laser focused on oil and gas.
Absolutely. And, that number, it's not just, something we pulled out of thin air.
Right.
This comes straight from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission.
So this is official data.
Yeah, it's official. It's the NUPRC. They're the ones who oversee the industry there.
Okay, so upstream, for folks who might not be familiar with that term,
Sure.
what does that actually mean in the oil and gas world?
So upstream, it refers to the early stages of the process, right? So we're talking exploration,
Okay.
finding the oil and gas, extracting it, drilling those wells and getting it out of the ground.
So not just the refineries and the pipelines.
Exactly.
They're in it from the ground up.
From the ground up, yeah. They're looking at the whole, initial phase of getting those resources.
That's really interesting, and it makes you wonder what's driving this.
Yeah.
What's behind this massive influx of interest.
Well, I think the timing here is really telling.
Okay.
This surge in interest, it follows really closely on the heels of a newly signed agreement between Nigeria and China.
Okay.
It's the Nigeria-China Relationship Agreement.
Mm.
And it signals, a real strengthening of ties between the two countries.
So someone's been doing some serious diplomatic work here.
Yeah, for sure. And we know that the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Nigeria-China Relations,
Okay.
Jaafaru Yakubu, he personally shared this information
Okay.
during a meeting with the NUPRC's chief executive.
Okay, so this is high-level stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
This isn't just, backroom deals. This is happening right out in the open.
Wow, all right, so we've got a lot of companies, we've got potentially a lot of money flowing, but who are these companies?
Right.
Are we talking about state-owned giants? Are we talking about, scrappy startups?
Sure.
Or a mix of both?
It's a real mix. It's a blend, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
Okay.
You've got the heavy hitters for sure, the big state-owned enterprises.
The big dame names.
Yeah, the ones everyone's heard of, CNOOC, Sinopec, companies with global reach and massive resources.
Right.
But then you also have these smaller, more specialized firms
Okay, interesting.
that are focusing on niche areas, like seismic surveys or pipeline construction.
So they're not just about pumping oil, they're looking at the whole
Supply chain.
the whole supply chain.
Yeah, it's a diverse portfolio for sure.
That's fascinating. And it makes you wonder, what's their game plan?
Right.
Are they just trying to secure resources for China's own,
Yeah.
ever-growing energy needs?
Sure.
Or is there maybe a bigger play here? Are they trying to establish a
foothold
foothold in a strategically important region?
It's a great question, and it's one that, analysts are really grappling with right now. I mean, on the one hand, China's energy demands are huge,
Oh, yeah.
and they're only going to grow, as their economy continues to expand.
Right.
So securing access to resources, that's a fundamental concern for them.
It's a matter of national security almost.
Almost. Yeah, I mean, they need to keep the lights on. They need to keep their industries running.
Right.
And they're looking all over the world for stable, reliable sources of energy.
Makes sense.
But then there's that other angle you mentioned,
Yeah.
that strategic geopolitical angle.
Yeah.
And it's worth remembering that China has been actively investing in infrastructure across Africa.
Oh, yeah. I mean, roads, railways.
Ports, railways, power plants, the whole works.
Yeah.
And they've been doing this for years now.
So this could be part of a larger strategy.
It could be, yeah, securing not just resources, but influence as well.
Influence. That's an interesting word.
It is. And, it's something we need to pay close attention to.
Yeah. And how is Nigeria feeling about all this?
Right.
Is this a win-win for them? Are there concerns about, becoming
really reliant.
overly reliant on one partner?
Yeah, that's a key question. And I think there's a mix of excitement and caution.
Okay.
On the one hand, Nigeria, they need investment to develop their energy sector.
Yeah.
They have huge reserves of oil and gas. But they need capital. They need technology. They need expertise to really, get those resources out of the ground and into the global market.
So this could be a way for them to jumpstart things.
Exactly. This could bring in billions of dollars in investment.
Wow.
It could create jobs. It could boost their economy.
A lot of potential benefits.
Definitely. But like any relationship, there are potential downsides too.
Right.
Nigeria needs to make sure that they don't become overly dependent on China.
They need to maintain their own agency.
Exactly. They need to negotiate carefully, protect their own interests, and make sure that the benefits of this partnership, they trickle down to the Nigerian people.
That the average person on the street sees the benefit.
Exactly. It can't just be, the elites or certain industries that benefit.
Right. It has to be a win for everybody.
It has to be a sustainable partnership that benefits both sides.
Absolutely. And stepping back a bit, looking at the bigger picture.
Sure.
How does this shake things up on the global stage?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, China's already a major energy player.
Oh, yeah.
But this seems like a pretty big move.
It is. It's a significant shift, and I think it has the potential to really reshape the dynamics of the global energy market.
Okay.
I mean, Nigeria is a major oil producer.
Right.
And this influx of investment, it could boost their output significantly.
Right.
And that could have a ripple effect on global supply and prices.
So we could see our gas prices go down.
It's possible. Yeah, it's all about supply and demand, right?
Right.
If supply increases and demand stays the same,
Prices go down.
prices could go down theoretically.
Interesting.
But then there's also that geopolitical angle we talked about earlier.
Right, the influence.
Yeah, if China strengthens its position in Nigeria,
Yeah.
that could have implications for their relationships with other countries.
Okay.
The U.S., Europe, other countries that are vying for influence in Africa.
So it's a delicate balance.
It's a very delicate balance and one that we need to watch closely.
All right, so to recap, we've got big numbers, big players,
Big time.
and big potential consequences.
Definitely.
But here's what I'm still chewing on,
Okay.
Could this, in the long run, actually shift the balance of power in Africa?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, could we see a future where China's influence rivals or even surpasses traditional Western powers in the region?
That's a huge question.
It's a huge question, and there's no easy answer.
Right?
It's a complex scenario with so many factors at play, but this investment by these Chinese companies, it's definitely a piece of that puzzle.
It's a key piece to watch.
Absolutely. It's one we need to keep our eye on.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
It's been fascinating. And for you listening out there, keep an eye on this story because it's one that could have ripple effects for years to come.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.